When I was in college, I did a couple things to try to understand the mechanics of a photograph. And then pretty early on, I hit on this thing. I realized that I could make myself fly through photography. That was one very specific idea, that you set up a camera, you're photographing an event where the camera kind of transforms what's in front of the lens. And something happens, and that thing that was there didn't happen or didn't look like what it is in the picture. It's a fiction and a truth at the same time. And I think it was that transformation that really drew me to photography. I did not set out to have a studio-based photographic practice. I developed over many years a process that enabled me to attempt to do that transformation in my own way. I was shooting with continuous lights, 8x10 slide film, and they stopped making the film. So I had to switch to strobe lights, which is just a flash and you can't see what the shadow's doing. And so I had to kind of paint the shadows in myself. And then I started tweaking the colors and kind of making them more part of the composition and just getting wild. So the first picture that I made using found images was a picture of a toe transplant operation. When I was a kid, my dad, who was a hand surgeon, made lots of photographs of his cases. They were just like totally gory and crazy looking, but fascinating. Yeah, I really like this picture. I don't know if this is a toe transplant operation, and I don't know if my dad is this guy or the guy taking the picture. And it kind of came full circle, transplanting a toe into a thumb and transplanting images from online into physical space. So I thought, what if I could kind of transport these images that probably had no other life other than the life that they've had online, and give them a body, give them a form in real life. This is my wife, Ruby's silhouette, taken 2 weeks ago by me. There's been a lot of talk about appropriation in a critical sense, but I like to think about what I'm doing as like an optimistic version of appropriation, where I'm kind of naive. The images are all ground up and blended together in a way that the history of them is not important. What I do want somebody to think about is just the picture. It's not that one can't have a really compelling conversation about art and the world via appropriation. But I do think that as I've continued to make pictures, I've been allowing things to be more beautiful, allowing, those relationships between physical things within a photograph to kind of make meaning. I never really know what I'm gonna get, even though I, spend so much time with it in the process of making it. I kind of like not knowing and then getting the film back and being surprised by how it morphs from kind of jumble of pretty shoddily made stuff into something that does have depth and substance and kind of turns into something real. it's really transformed through making the photograph. I mean, I'm like happy about this black kind of blend in to the foreground and the background and have the white blend in the foreground and the background. I like it. I'm really interested in those points where one extreme meets another extreme and you're not quite sure what you're looking at. Transparency will be drum scanned, which is just a very good scan. And I work with Anthony from Green Rhino. You know, we'll do like 4 or 5 meetings, starting with small prints, just to work on the color. You know, we can color correct for specific parts. You know, so like, say the reds aren't quite the right red, we can select that part and make it correct. But more or less what we're doing is just correcting it to make it look like what it looked like. Looks good. It is interesting how I spend, 99% of my time in process. Finding images, printing them out, constructing them into a 3-dimensional thing, photographing that, processing that film, scanning it on my little scanner, making a print, looking at it on the wall, and how little time I get with the actual work. If I'm lucky, it's in a show, and I get to look at it while I install it and spend a little time with it. But the final thing does really matter. And it's important that it resolves in the end as a print.